This is Three Beards Media. Real talk, no filters, no scripts. From sports to culture, we say what others won't. Turn it up, lock in, because it all starts right now. Live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios and powered by Reinvention Distilling Company.
Would you like to sample some of my nuts?
You can run your miles, but you ain't got what's been earned through trials. It ain't in the gym, ain't in the use. It's in busted knuckles and hard-lived truth. Back's been sore since 99, but I still stack wood and I still outgrind. Call me slow, call me old, but I got hands that could bend pure gold. Ain't about muscle, ain't about speed. It's about the fire when the time comes to lead. You can talk real tough, you can flex real wide, but when it's time to dig in, boys, step aside. Old man strength, built to last. Years of work, no need for class. Ain't no quit, ain't no doubt. You don't know tough till you've been worn out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Old Man Strength from the Three Beards Media Network, brought to you from the AKC Andrew Downs Marketing Studio and powered by Reinvention Distilling Company. We're also sponsored by Iowa Beef Steakhouse, Jenny Farrell at the Remax team, styled by JJ Boutique, and our newest community outreach partner and sponsor, No Pros Remodeling. Shout out to Jimmy and Joe and Nick. They did my bathroom last year. They did my kitchen last year. They did my bathroom this year. So they did such a good job. I was like, we should partner up. So we did. So as usual, my co-hosts are here. Aaron Wall, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay, Chris. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Got a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, me too. It's been a crazy busy summer so far. That's why these poor people that are watching have to see my face for the first time in a while.
I was going to say, we were talking about it beforehand. I was like, I can't remember the last time we were on a show together. It was either you and Tim together or me and Tim or me and somebody else, because Tim couldn't make it or you couldn't make it with work and things like that. So, and then I was at the conference for the boys. So I did a couple episodes there and put those in the hopper and just recorded them and then put them out. So it's been a hot minute.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, I've been on the road for work, basically 11 of the last 12 weeks. And I typically leave on Mondays, which is when we normally record. And then you have the potential of dealing with unreliable hotel internet.
I was in Buffalo, and when I had to do a couple pods, I luckily brought my hotspot, but downloading the episodes and then trying to upload them to the Anchor system. At one point, when it said it was going to take 3 hours, and I was like, "Oh my God, the hotel Wi-Fi is terrible in here. It sucks."
Yeah. Thankfully, with all this travel, I've stayed at Marriott enough that I now get enhanced Wi-Fi for free.
Well, there you go. That's what I need to do. I'm going to have to do that in Denver, I think. I'm sure. Yeah. So, yeah, and then we're going to be in Denver at the same time.
I know, wild that.
I know, right?
Both in Denver the same week, just by happen chance. So,
yeah,
happen chance, happenstance.
I don't know, dude. Don't ask me like fancy words and definitions. We've talked about this before. Don't ask me that stuff.
I know.
Jeez.
I know. You can tell I'm
You're out of practice.
Rusty and out of practice.
I know. You thought I was Tim, who's super smart and understands words.
Well, you're better looking than Tim.
That's true. Well, it's not a hard bar.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure to see if he listens, because he'll definitely
he's
have
not
something to say about
right
that
now. Right. We'll see if he's listening. Let's just shit talk Tim all night. That'll be great. All right. Well, we have a special guest tonight. I have been, Three Beards Media has been working behind the scenes a little bit on our appearance at the Des Moines Whiskey Festival. And I met this guest, I'd say probably about 2.5 months ago at the now defunct KXNO radio stations. But I think we followed each other on social media before that. And then we made the deal to do Des Moines Whiskey Fest and Old Man Strength. And then since then, we've kind of done some collaboration and some conversations and things like that. And so I'm super excited to bring on our guest and my new friend, owner of Des Moines Whiskey Fest, among many of her other talents, Melissa Merrifield. How are you, Melissa?
Well, happy Sunday. Thank you for taking time out of your first Sunday. I am amazing. I'm ready to have a caffeinated conversation or, as you say, whiskey talks, either way.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll give you a brief introduction, Melissa, but why don't you give everybody, if you had to sum up who Melissa Merrifield is in 90 seconds.
Well,
Give
I think
everybody
my title speaks for itself, aka Biz Boss.
That's right. Yeah.
My license plates may say Biz Boss on them. They may or may not. And there may be a story that comes out that
Perfect.
how Biz Boss came about. So my name is Melissa Merrifield. I grew up in small town Iowa, Winfield, Iowa, the famous Just Settles, Class 1A, 2A basketball champions. We might have did a few things back in the day when we were in high school. And then I spent 20 years in Cedar Rapids, but I have been in marketing for 26 years now. I've done some amazing things for a lot of companies, partnerships. You got the big idea, you come to me and I make it happen.
Perfect. Well, we got all kinds of big ideas, don't we, Aaron?
We do.
A few. I'm an idea man. So Chris is the execution guy. I'm the idea guy.
Very cool.
Yeah, like morons, they put me in charge around.
So when I transitioned from Cedar Rapids, I've only been in the Des Moines market for really roughly about 10 years. KCCI was who brought me to the marketplace. And that's where I kind of realized that my networking superpower was networking, connecting, and collaborating with people. I kind of started this fun game when I was at KCCI. I would go out and I would literally take selfies. So one day I'd be in a combine, one day I'd be in a restaurant, really just helping promote and help the people in Eastern Iowa know all the great things that I was doing here in the Des Moines market.
So growing up in Winfield, tell us a little bit about that small town and what values from that small town kind of shape who you are now and the stories that you tell.
It's all about centered around community and where the community and the community comes together, or where the corn grows around the community is really about evolution and growing. And, being in a small town, I went in a one school building that was K through 12, one building. I had 42 classmates. We were all friends. We all knew everybody. And if you did something really stupid over the weekend, I'm pretty sure my English teacher knew what was going on and you got called out on it, is sitting in his front row in his classroom. And so small town value is really about building relationships. But I always envisioned that there was something bigger for me than small town. And kind of as I started working when I was about 14, by the time I was 16, I was working 2 jobs, and I decided that I wasn't the athlete in the small town. I was the cheerleader. I was the let's do things. So I was working full-time by the time I'm 16. And then I started working for Hy-Vee when I was 18. And so just an evolution and that fun story. I was actually going to be a hairstylist all up until my senior year of high school. 1 month before graduation, I'd already signed the papers and everything. And I said, what if I went and got the marketing and the sales piece? And I decided to go to Kirkwood. And so from there, I never looked back. I've always been involved in sales and marketing, and I moved to Cedar Rapids. And by the time I was 21, I bought my first house with the tips that I had made at working from a bar where I was the shot girl. But I actually made more money working in the bar than I did working at my full-time job at a credit union.
Isn't that sad? That's a sad realization, isn't it?
Well, yes, but then, it's even more sad.
I mean, that way, I'm just saying, like, that gives you a microcosm of like how sometimes education and things like that, like you can see why other people don't take that education path.
Yeah. Well, that's I went to school full time at Kirkwood, got a double major in marketing and business. And then I transitioned when I was working at the credit union. I started as a teller, worked my way up into marketing assistant. I was also the show you care coordinator. So I worked with the local TV station, and we worked on all the community programs across that the community would support. So everything from Bowl for Kids' Sake, JDRF, Heart Walks, you name it. St. Jude. We did a lot with the community and a lot within that organization. And so that fundraising and marketing and business and networking building all just kept building upon itself. But it's the tips. So it's funny when you talk about building strong relationships. The same people that saw me and trusted me with their money and I cashed their checks on Friday were the same people that came and saw me at the bar, and they couldn't not tip me because I cashed their check. So, but yeah, I bought my first house by the time I was 21. Part of the reason why I bought that house was I wanted to help my sisters. If they needed a place and wanted to go to school, then they knew they had a place to go and work hard. And I think that small town community hard work ethic has always been a part of who I am and what I do and all things I do. And then that same house that I bought when I was 21, I lost it to the flood of 2008 in Cedar Rapids.
Man.
So if you can imagine being 18 or well, having your first house and then getting married, having your baby, and then about 8 months later, the first house you ever bought, you imagine walking into your living room and only 3 foot up is anything you could save. And turns out there's this magical line that the sidewalk was the 100-year line that I didn't have to have the flood insurance. And my house was the 500-year line. So if you can imagine walking into your living room, that's all you could save. And so early on, when I was just getting started, I learned a lot about how to navigate red tape, keep moving forward, and just keep building upon all the things. And that's been a theme for taking leaps of faith. And, you know, in marketing, it's never been just this flat line. It's always been like, well, maybe I should take this risk, or maybe I should go here, or ebbs and flows.
So 18, you're doing that. You buy your house at 21. Like that's kind of an amazing feat. I would imagine that outside persona, people looking at you outside, looked at Melissa and said, man, she's got it all together. She's got it all figured out. Did you believe that you had everything figured out then?
Hell no. Well, I mean, I felt like I was like Coyote Ugly of Iowa, and then I was really doing some things. So in my mind, I felt like I did, but there was a lot of, you know, if you can imagine also in the turmoil of the house being flooded, my ex-husband was working for a place that was flooded as well. Turns out when there's natural disaster, you also find out that you're expecting your next baby. And so there was just a lot of life that happens all the time in my life. And it's always just about pivoting and growing. And like, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anything. So a little bit of humor has been involved in a lot of journeys in my lifetime.
Yeah. Aaron?
No, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, because it's still at that age, because you're talking
27.
Yeah, mid-20s to pick up from a flooded house and do all the things and having another kid. And I mean, that's a lot of people would have went backwards. And, you know, struggled through all of that and really had a hard time. But to me, so far, it seems like you probably just put your nose down and kept grinding. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, but that's also where I learned a lot about community. When your neighbors are going through the same thing that you're going through, and that gift card that you got from Walmart, that's $20 that can go buy you some underwear, because when you moved out of your house, you packed everything up for the weekend and you come back and there's nothing. You know, my dad's company didn't know us from anything. They were a company out of Chicago. They took up a monetary donation, and they actually took up a physical donation that I drove and pick up. And I couldn't even bring everything back in my car that I did. But I brought everything back, and knowing that I could pass it along to somebody else in my community, because the people that were beside me may not have been as educated or as determined to navigate the red tape. And, you know, a check for $20,000 from FEMA doesn't do a whole lot when you're replacing your whole entire house. And so that lesson there taught me a lot about natural disasters and how to jump into action, and how do you serve your community in ways that make sense.
So how long was that transition and going through finding another place to live? Where you were working, I mean, you were working at a corporate job as well. You were juggling all that and now 2 young kids.
Yeah. So that transition, we had a lot of restrictions on what we could do. Luckily, I had worked in the financial industry and I understood mortgage loans and all that. And I built a pretty good reputation on myself. But we got to the time, it was probably, so I realized that there was going to be a problem with the amount of people that were displaced, that I got an apartment before we even got back into our house. So that was probably a 6-week. We stayed with my former in-laws for about 6 weeks. We moved into an apartment. When we got to closing time, which was, I was almost due with my other, so about 9 months, we had found a house and we get to the closing time and they're like, well, we don't have your check. And I'm like, well, they've already run on my apartment. I don't know what you need me to do, but I can't be homeless. I have a 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old, and I'm about to have another child. So let's figure this out. And that's also where I learned I had to use a little Biz Boss attitude to kind of make things happen and make some phone calls and stay at it and be determined, because it was the middle of February and I wasn't going to be homeless.
Tell me, I want to know more about, what is this Biz Boss attitude? What is that?
So
I mean, I think I've seen some of it, but I want to listen. Like, I feel like that's a different persona. Do you have like some kind of split personality, or?
It's really about just going after things and giving it your all, even when other people don't believe in you. If you can have that energy within yourself. There was also I was in a sales job, and I was excelling, and they just kept wanting more and more. And this is part of the corporate piece that started to come out in my career. The more I'd give, the more they would take. And I was like, okay. So on my 40th birthday, I thought, it was when the black plates first came out. And I was like, Biz Boss, how cool would it be if my car was parked there and my manager had to walk by and see Biz Boss every day, because I was making them a ton of money in sales and stuff. But, in sales, it's never enough. You show them a little and you get a lot, or they want a lot more. So I came up with a Biz Boss term, and it's just kind of been this evolution of being a Biz Boss, reinventing myself, moving into a community in which I knew no one, but also realizing how truly connected I was, because the connections ran deep. And it's not uncommon for me to go outside of town and go to a concert in St. Louis, and I run into 5 or 6 people that I know, because it's about the relationships that I build. Or, I just took my daughter to a concert in St. Paul, and I'm literally sitting in a row ahead of somebody else that I knew from the community. Biz Boss is about being her true authentic self and not letting things get in her way, and just keep moving forward and having a little fun along the way. And, I've always made a lot of companies a lot of money. And, there's just this, like, when you can think big, and, for example, I took one company from 16 million to 22 million in 18 months. Those are some things that it's all in the details. It's all in how you tell the story. So again, it kind of comes back to, I am Biz Boss, and I enjoy being called Biz Boss, but it's also, transitioning from corporate America and marketing and, always having your ideas. Someone's always got a better idea, or we can do it differently. Marketing, I would say, has definitely been that, where everyone always has somebody else a better idea or something else how to do it. Or my ideas always seem to be too big in corporate America, and I always seem to be like shoved in a box. It was until I started to step out on my own that, and this isn't the first time I own my own business. Also in that stint of raising 2 small children and working full time, I also ran my own marketing business. I had over 42 clients, never advertised, nothing. I had enough volume from Vistaprint that they created a reseller program that I was one of the very first people to be a part of. So it was when social media was popping up. I'd cringe when I go into a business and I saw that they had a business card that didn't represent who they truly were as a business, and just going after it. Did that define Biz Boss for you?
It did. Yes, correct. I got it now. Perfect.
He doesn't got it. He has no idea.
Shut up, Aaron. I'm trying to impress a guest. We talked about this.
Sorry. She's met you.
That's right. That's true. That's true. We're trying to be professional on this podcast.
No, it's okay.
Well, we're going to jump around into different spots here and things like that. And you and I have had some talks and whatever else, but then let's talk a little bit about that support system, because you're rolling in the marketing job that you got these 42 clients. You are raising these 2 young kids, and then your husband quits his job.
Yeah, that was, so, I mean, even in early on, my ex-husband always worked third shift and second shift. And those shifts aren't for the faint of the heart, nor are they for the faint of the family. Because there's always someone who gets, whether the person working those shifts don't get enough sleep, or the family doesn't get enough time with all of it. So, I was going through climbing the corporate ladder, working. I was exhausted. I was toast. I'm not going to lie. I had transitioned. I was in healthcare, and I got a little severance package, and it was hard because I had climbed the ladder to where I'd wanted to be. But at the end of the day, I didn't have any gas left in the tank to give. And, when my ex-husband decides that he's going to quit his job, it was the one time in my life that I really needed him to step up and support me. And I just didn't feel like I had the support system to, it was the eye opener that I think both of us needed, to be honest, that we weren't meant to be together or continue the journey, because we'd already expelled all the fumes in the tank.
Yeah.
And so, as a single mom and raising daughters, it was the first time in my life that my kids had to see me say no. I've always worked really hard to give them a better life than what I had when I was growing up. But it was the first time in my life, and it was a crucial time in their adult growing up time, that they got to see things get really, really tight and really hard. But I had to keep the positive attitude that things are going to be okay. And I tell you what, that was a lesson that we all learned, and we worked together. And my girls, they gave me so much support in transitioning and going through, keeping the house. In 3 months, my ex-husband and I were divorced, and I cut him a check for $15,000. And I don't know a lot of people that could say that they could do that. And then just navigating the finances and the keeping up with the house. And I will tell you, I've learned that, yeah, I love my house, but I'm too busy. I don't have time to make the yard look pretty and things.
That resonates a little bit, because when I met Stacy, she was a divorced mom. She had she had Josh and Jordan, who were, when she got divorced, they were 1.5. They have special needs. She was a teacher, or is a teacher. She had 2 twins with special needs, teaching, and took a second job selling jewelry so she could keep her house, so she could keep some stability for the boys. And then when I met her, she was still in that house. She was still moving along. And there was a lot of, I don't have time for this or that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, my focus is on the boys and making sure that they're taken care of and things like that. Looking back, I think for her, that was probably the hardest part, not necessarily financially, but emotionally. And I think I get that from you too. But let me ask you this. Do you think your girls benefited from seeing that version of a mom who, in the face of adversity and struggle, was able to persevere and still put foot forwards and still move forward and win?
Wow. Yeah. 100%. I mean, the girls, it was amazing, just the amount of negativity that my ex and I were creating in the household, and giving my girls that life lesson at when they were 16 and 17 was kind of a big lesson. And, now my oldest has moved out on her own. She's living in her own apartment. She's thriving. She's living with her boyfriend that she's been with for 3 years. So I do believe that in that time frame, they learned a lot of lessons. But when you talk about the quiet, I had to get really quiet, and I had to really put my head down and concentrate on what it is that I wanted. I launched my own marketing firm just a year ago. And then during that time, it got scary. Like it's hard to start a business in the middle of May and not have a savings and not have all the luxury of what you've had in the past. And just knowing that you could have the faith to do it. It's funny because I actually had one of my favorite magazines, DSM magazine, has always been a big supporter. I've always done some really great things with them. I had the opportunity to purchase my own ad. So I took my own advice on my own self, is what I tell my clients. You got to market, you got to do all these things. I had no clue how I was going to pay for this ad in May, but I knew that if I didn't put this ad, the ad came out in September, and it was a women's leader edition. I knew that I would easily derail, and I could have easily went and got a job. That would have been the easy route. But knowing that I had this magazine article coming out gave me what I needed to not go across the course and take another job. And, and when you're going through that, and when you've climbed the corporate ladder, they say for every 10,000 you make, it takes that amount of time to find another job. Well, when you're going through divorce, my mom had also gotten sick. We had to sell her house. There was a lot of things that I had to think through and work through and navigate. And every resume that you would spend an hour and you'd get the thank you for applying, but you're overqualified, or,
Oh, yeah. Those are always fun.
It takes a toll on a person. And it was at that point in time where the universe is really telling me it's time for you to do your own damn thing again. And it was a perfect storm. I picked up 9 clients right away, and then a nice shiny object thing came along, and they're like, do you want fractional or do you want full-time? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. Do you want fractional or do you want full-time? Well, I went full-time in 5 months. The entrepreneur was like, Melissa, you need to be doing this by yourself. And he actually supported me and helped me with my office expenses for the first 3 months out on my own. So that when you talk about support system and mentors and people along the way that you meet, people often see things in you that you don't see in yourselves before you even recognize them. And so when they start pushing you and giving you the signs, and if you don't listen, you're going to get diverted on a different track.
Yeah. Let's take our first break. We're going to get a word from a break. And then when we come back, I want to dive into a little bit about your mom. And then you have taken some punches. Then another life event happened with your career. So let's take a break. We're going to get a word from some of our great sponsors. Of course, Reinvention Distilling Company, Rob and Christy down at Osceola are amazing partners for Three Beards Media. And then Styled by JJ Boutique, and then Iowa Beef Steakhouse. And then we'll be back with Melissa Merrifield.
What happens when Iowa grain meets world-class craftsmanship? At Reinvention Distilling Company, every bottle begins right here in the heartland. From locally sourced Iowa corn and rye to the final pour, our grain-to-glass process ensures exceptional quality in every sip. Whether you're enjoying our award-winning mulberry gin, smooth honey whiskey, or rich whiskey and cream liqueur, you're tasting the best of Iowa in every bottle. And now, Revelton can ship directly to 48 states across the country. Visit ReveltonDistillery.com and have Iowa's finest delivered right to your door.
Summer isn't over, but the best time to refresh your wardrobe is right now. At Styled by JJ Boutique, you'll find those perfect summer looks you've been wanting, and you'll get a head start on the hottest styles for fall before everyone else. Whether you're heading out for a weekend getaway, back to school shopping, football Saturdays, or just looking to feel confident every day, JJ has hand-picked fashions that fit your style and your budget. Shop local, look amazing, and let Styled by JJ Boutique help you step into the next season with confidence. Styled by JJ Boutique, where every season starts in style.
In the heart of Des Moines, One name stands above the rest. Step inside, where tradition still matters. Warm, familiar, unmistakably Iowa, where every guest is welcomed like family. Service that's personal and never rushed. Fresh starts made daily. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned. Guided by fire, built on flavor. Served with pride. A bar as bold as the menu. Featuring the old-fashioned we're known for. A place that stays with you long after the night ends. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines. Steak done right.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why choosing the right real estate team matters. The Jenny Farrell team with RE/MAX Concepts has been helping families across the Des Moines Metro find the right home since 1998. Born and raised right here in the community, Jenny understands the neighborhoods, the market, and what truly makes a house feel like home. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your space, or preparing to sell, the Jenny Farrell team provides expert guidance every step of the way, from market analysis and listings to negotiations and closing. Their consultative approach means you'll feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. Jenny Farrell Team, RE/MAX Concepts. Call or text 515-779-7500. Visit jenniferfarrell.remax.com. Experience you can trust. Results you can move into.
All right, and we're back. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Jenny Farrell and the RE/MAX Concept team. If you're looking for a new home, reach out to Jenny Farrell. She'll sell it pretty quick, or she'll have her husband threaten somebody to buy it for you, Willie Farrell. So, all right, we are back with Old Man Strength. Melissa, so you mentioned a little bit about your mom and caretaking your mom. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because that's another. How old were your girls when you?
So this was all in the same time frame. So everything all happened all at once.
Man, it was a storm.
It literally was a storm. It's interesting when you have to start becoming the parent of your parent and making decisions that, you might not necessarily be prepared for, or they're not prepared for. And there's a lot that goes into those decisions. And, you want to make sure that they're healthy and that they're being cared for and their happiness matters. My mom had been a single mom almost her whole life. She was, by the time she was 62, she was still working those 60, 80-hour work weeks at a nursing home. I wonder where I get that from. The apple falls pretty close to the tree.
Right.
So, watching my mom go through that and knowing that she wasn't taking the best care of herself, we had to help my sister. I have two sisters. I'm the oldest, and we had to help my mom make some decisions about moving closer to one of us so we could help her take care of herself and make sure she was getting to the doctor and her medicines and all of those things. And that was another thing that I had to take on in that time frame. And then we also had to work to get her house ready to sell, cleaning it out, and doing all the things in that short amount of time. And that's also, and during the same time frame when my support system literally bottomed out. I had nothing. And you don't realize how much, like, just taking someone to the grocery store or adapting your busy Biz Boss schedule and having to slow down and think about the needs of another person.
Did you get, and Chris has been through this and having to take care of a parent and being involved in all of that. Did you get a lot of pushback from your mom about not wanting to leave her house and, all of those kind of things?
Of course. I mean,
you don't want to change.
My mom had a similar story. That was the first house she had ever bought herself too. I mean, I was 16 And she bought that house for like $16,000. It was the most amazing thing that she'd ever accomplished being a single mom. And so for her to let go of her, not only her career and her house all at once, there was a lot of emotional turmoil that she was going through. And, you know, she's kind of stubborn, and she'll be the first to admit it, that she doesn't like to slow down and take care of herself. She would always want to be the one taking care of other people. And so those are conversations, and they were hard, and they were hard on me, and they were hard on my sisters. And it was hard to help my mom wrap her brain around, like, this was a good thing for her. And she just needed to be closer to one of us, because between the three of us, we lived about 2.5, 3 hours away from her. So if she did fall and get hurt, you know, it was a stretch for one of us to go to get there. And, you know, we grew up in Winfield. My grandparents grew up there. And then when they passed away, it was kind of like her purpose was no longer where it needed to be either. And so it was really, really hard. And then let's talk about the things that they want to keep and hold on to, that you have no, like, they have purpose for them, but your house is already overflowing with things. And you're like, I don't know what you want me to do with these amazing art that you've had from kindergarten, but I don't, you know. And so it makes you feel like a bad person, because you're like, okay, thanks, Mom, but I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah. Yeah. I got like 3 tubs full of stuff from my mom, that report cards from 3rd grade, and, you know, all of the stuff that she kept.
The first handwriting, like where you wrote or cursive or all of it. I mean, it's amazing that we have those things, but it's also like we've transitioned into a society where it's stuff, and it's like it consumes us. And so trying to figure out the balance of how do you make that shift? How do you honor what they see as value and adapting it into your lifestyle today?
Yeah, it's a tough thing to navigate, that's for sure. And there are times where I think there were times for me where I was like, why are we so fixated on this? I don't understand why you're so fixated on this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well, and there was like a bag of, I don't know, there was something that my mom knew she had. And I'm like, I never saw these. I don't know where they're at. And she was just so like, she needed these. And I'm like, I don't know where they went. I don't know what happened to them. You know, and so she's happy, healthy now. She loves going to the grocery store. We love going to the farmer's market. And she's also adapted and learned that I'm also very busy, and that I still have a family of my own. And so I give my mom much kudos in that. And she's also making friends in her complex and getting to know her neighbors. And so her not having that connection with the residents at the nursing home and being able to talk to her was really hard on her for a while. But now she's making goodies, and she's the talk of the neighborhood complex.
There you go. Well, hopefully for good reasons. My mom was the talk, but it wasn't for good reasons.
Got it.
Yeah. So, all right. So I promise we're getting to the fun stuff.
Whiskey? What?
Yeah, we're going to get to the whiskey thing, but okay. You also at some point, I went through this. I don't think Aaron has, but I can tell you from a personal experience, I lost my job in 2023. I had bounced around. I had left property management, which was the job that I was running. I bounced around to a couple other marketing jobs, and I went and worked for a company. And it was, there would be days where I would sit there and think, like, I think maybe COVID messed me up, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not remembering anything. I was struggling, and I got fired from that job, and it did a complete number on my psyche and self-esteem. Like, I was literally in a headspace where I was like, I don't know that I'm ever good enough that I could do anything that I used to do before.
Yeah. You know, I'll give you two things in there. Job loss is very hard. And then also, you know, when you are going through that interview process and you're getting rejected after rejected, you're like, is it really me? Am I really, what's going on? But I also think that corporate America isn't prepared to deal with women as they start to transition into midlife and start going through lots of crazy things, and that brain fog that was happening. You know, I also feel like there was a point in my career where I could do everything, even as in my current journey. Like, and I also think in marketing, I've only had a couple big teams, but I've always been kind of independent, and we have to do everything and everything. And as I'm learning and getting older, my brain doesn't have the capacity to be and do all the things. I have to really hone in on what it is that I am really, really good at, and not worry about, and in marketing, there are so many things in the back end and the details, and you have to know how to navigate all of those. And then, training new people. And I've been in a couple college situations where I've done some mentoring, and I don't know about you, but I don't know what they teach them, because when they get out, I had someone who didn't even know what I'd hired him right out of college that didn't even know how to put a stamp on an envelope and how to address an envelope. And I was like, okay, here we go. But yeah, sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was going to tell Chris, I have been let go 3 different times.
Really? I guess I didn't know this.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Once when I was teaching, because a school consolidated and they reduced staff. So I was,
sure,
downsized or whatever you want to call it. Which I was 23. I wasn't terribly concerned about it at that time, and got another job. So once I sort of fired myself, shout out Carl Chevrolet. That's when I was working there selling cars. And the other time was also in the car business. So those don't really count, because I had another job like the next day at a different dealership. Car people get fired all the time. It's not the same. So, but yeah, I've been through it a couple times.
I mean, for me, it was a loss of who I was. For me, it was a loss for who I was. It was a loss who I felt like I was in the community. It was I also realized that my job is not who I am as a person. It's just what I do. And
Right.
So I spent a lot of time that summer being quiet and thinking and listening and really searching for what it is, does this next journey look like, and what does that entail? Because I don't know that I could go into another corporation and just feel that mind numbing of like, do I know what I'm doing or not doing or any of that? And so there's a lot to be said that happens in that transition. And I think there's a lot more people that go through it, especially as we get a little bit older than what we think. And you realize like, who am I and what am I doing? And why are all these things not aligning up? And for me, it was being stuffed in a corporate box. Like I was confined into so many boxes that I wasn't allowed to just breathe and be me and do the things that I would do. And, I'm not perfect, and we've all made mistakes along the way in our career, but I know I gave that job 110%, if not more.
Yeah. You said your identity was a little bit tied to your career, and then you wonder how you separate that from what you do. But yeah. I think the question I should ask you is if no one knew your job title, who were you?
I would say that I was the connector. And then, obviously I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm Melissa Merrifield, and I'm everywhere is what everyone tells me. And, during that time frame, I really wasn't. I really wasn't everywhere. And I had a lot of people that I thought were friends, didn't even reach out, didn't talk, didn't connect them to me. So when you learn about that process and who really is your friend and not your friend, and like the phone doesn't ring and nobody checks on you, that's hard. Yeah,
it really is. I would say 2 profound moments for me, and I've talked about it quite a bit on this podcast, is the 2017 when I got cancer and my esophageal cancer, and that journey, and remembering going, after that, I'm done being afraid to try things. I'm done being afraid to try things, which is, the spur of old man strength, and and meeting Tim and Aaron and building Three Beards Media into what it has been today. And also when I lost that job, and then I was working in this shitty, crappy little company that was brutal to work for. And
We used to
the
hear
guy
about that all the
and
time.
the guy that ran it would not listen, and you're just wondering, like, is this my life? Do I continue to just come in here and work for 2 hours every day and turn my back and wait for the guy to hand me the paycheck because I was embarrassed to take his money every week and sit here and be miserable? Or do I do something? And I remember when this job that I'm at now came out, it was for the director of marketing, and I was instantly like, I'm not on a director's level. I'm talking myself out of it. I'm already defeated here because I'm already like, I can't do that job. I don't have any, even though it was in a field that I knew cold and I knew everything about, and I knew that's where I wanted to be back. And I just remember sitting there one day and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm applying for that job. That was the attitude.
It's amazing when you start transforming yourself, the things that will happen the minute you start transforming yourself and believing in you and what you're capable of and what that will naturally transition out of.
Yep. All right, we're going to take our last break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about your new endeavor and what possessed somebody to go, I'm just going to buy this thing called Des Moines Whiskey Fest. Yeah, now we're getting to the part where Aaron's going to be excited to talk about, because now he's going to talk about whiskey and drinking and debauchery and all that other stuff. So, but this is what I like to call our community partnerships that we have. Of course, that leads off with No Pros, who is our newest sponsor and is our endeavor for community outreach. Any live event that we're going to have with the community to do charity work and so on, No Pros Remodeling is going to be there right with us. But they also not only are helping us transform the community, but they're also helping people transform their homes at a fraction of the cost. So let's get a word from No Pros, and then, of course, the Animal Lifeline, and then we're going to learn a bit about Des Moines Whiskey Fest.
At Three Beards Media, giving back to our community has always been at the heart of what we do. That's why we're proud to welcome No Pros Remodeling as our official community outreach partner. Thinking about transforming your home? From stunning kitchen renovations, all while still being able to use your kitchen, to gorgeous bathroom remodels that take a fraction of the time, No Pros delivers craftsmanship you'll love. Best of all, they can help you save up to 75% compared to the other guys. When you're ready to transform your home into your dream home, call No Pros Remodeling at 515-679-6509 or visit www.nopros.com. No Pros Remodeling, creating stunning home transformations while helping Three Beards Media make a difference in our communities.
Not every animal gets a fair shot, but that's exactly what Animal Lifeline of Iowa is here to change. Since 1986, they've been stepping in for the ones who need it most. Injured, abused, orphaned, and special needs cats and dogs across Iowa. This isn't just a shelter, it's a lifeline. As Central Iowa's only no-kill shelter dedicated to special needs animals, they provide life-saving care, rehabilitation, and the opportunity for every animal to find a forever home, no matter how long it takes. But here's the deal. They can only save as many lives as the community supports. So get involved. Donate online. Hit up the Animal Lifeline thrift store, where every purchase fuels their mission. Or, better yet, find your next best friend and adopt. Because every tail wag, every purr, starts with someone like you. Animal Lifeline of Iowa, where we provide much-needed TLC and a safe space until they find their home.
Whiskey lovers, get ready for the ultimate experience at Whiskey Fest 2026. From exclusive tastings and live music to unforgettable networking and premium pours, this is the can't-miss whiskey event of the year. Kick things off Thursday, October 1st with the Women in Whiskey Dinner at River Center DSM. Then Friday night, October 2nd, enjoy the VIP whiskey tasting event at the Meridian in West Des Moines. The celebration wraps up Saturday, October 3rd with the whiskey tasting main event featuring incredible brands, bold flavors, VIP early entry, and more. To top it off, Old Man Strength will be broadcasting live Friday night from the VIP event. Raise your glass and join the experience at Whiskey Fest 2026.
All right, and this is this week's adoptable of the week. This is Moxie from the Animal Lifeline. Moxie is ready to go home, so somebody go adopt this cute, adorable little dog. Moxie had a heart murmur and a cardiology workup, and they have some twice daily medication and things like that you can take. But Moxie's ready, man. Look, how can you say no to Moxie? Can't say no to Moxie, right?
You're pulling at my heartstrings with the dog there.
That's the whole point. I know. I got some Sarah McLachlan music going. I got the whole thing going here. So,
we were just talking about, we had a family dinner tonight and we were talking about dogs, and I'm like, we just had to put our family dog down in June. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. And I really am, but I'm not. So thanks for tugging at this string with Moxie.
Seems like a good chance to go see Moxie.
Yeah, it really does.
All right, Aaron, I know you got all kinds of whiskey questions, but look, he's all perked up now. But
let's talk whiskey. Let's get to the good stuff. Yes.
Let's talk. This is the conversation I always have with people. I remember asking Rob, like when he went to Chrissy that first time and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about completely changing my entire career and let's open a distillery," and the look that he probably got from his wife. So the question is you decide this Des Moines Whiskey Fest thing could use some new blood and a new lifeline. How many people thought you were crazy?
Well, there was a lot that I'm like, I had a lot of people, why the hell did you buy this? Or how do you buy a festival, or all the things?
Yeah, I'm fascinated to know how this works. Yeah.
Well, it turns out when you're in marketing and you have volunteered and you've done a lot of events for other people, from golf events, fundraisers, galas, and you've put on several things, there comes a point in time where you think about an event and an opportunity in a different light. This happened to be part of the conversations and the things that were going on. This was actually brought to me last year in September. They needed some marketing help, and at that point in time, everything that we needed to do would have cost money, and they didn't have it. And so, we continued the conversation. Of course, on a golf course, we ran into each other, and they said, "Hey, I think we're looking to sell." And I was like, "Great, let's talk. I might have some investors. Not me at this point in time. It still wasn't my opportunity." The more conversations that we had and the more I sat and thought about this, I was like, this is the perfect thing for me. It's marketing, it's business, it's community, it's telling the story of the distillers and helping bring things to Iowa awareness. And it's creating a crafted, curated experience from something that they've not experienced before, but they maybe had a taste of it. My specialty is the cleanup crew. I love cleaning up a good cleanup story where I come in and clean that up and wipe it up and make it nice and shiny and pretty. And then before we know it, the next big bold thing is in front of me and I'm on my way. And so when I look at this Whiskey Fest and the opportunity surrounding it and thinking about just the stories and the things, and I actually had an opportunity when I was at KCCI. Templeton Rye was actually one of my clients. And so I was kind of already in the loop of the distillery, the process, the grain to farm, all of the things. And so I leaned into it, and I had I had one really great business partner that we've been trying to do something for 3 years. We met each other at a conference, and we're like, holy cow, you're the female, I'm the female version and you're the male version. And we know 98% of Des Moines. And then it turns out, along the way of, dating a little bit and then moving along, you find someone that believes in you and sees you for who you are and what you can do, and was willing to share the excitement for what I was experiencing in these whiskey talks that made it seem like, yeah, this is the right opportunity for me. And let's do it. And it was more like a heck yeah. Oh my God, tell me more. And to have somebody believe in me the way that Levi, who's one of the partners in Des Moines Whiskey Fest, also happens to be my boyfriend. Fun story. We'll keep that. We wanted to keep church and state separate, but the more I thought about it, it seemed like we were building something really big together.
Sure.
And for him, he had the trust and he saw the vision of what this Whiskey Fest could be, that his parents actually were the first ones that I talked to about becoming partners with us in the Whiskey Fest. And, it was an evolution of, I was coming off of this really hard year and just finding somebody that believed in me and saw me for who and what I could do. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
So here we are. We are like literally 59 days away from the 9th annual Whiskey Fest. There's a lot of great new things coming along with it. We've learned so much about the distillers in the state of Iowa, the great whiskeys and bourbons, and the great products that are being produced in our backyard. I think that's the thing that makes me most excited about this. And it's really about the people. I mean, the people that we have met across the state, from Sioux City to Cedar Rapids, and finding and hearing about all these. I don't know about you guys, and Aaron, I don't know what your whiskey collection looks like, but most of these whiskey fanatics, they have quite a collection, or they have a bottle that they're really excited about, or one that they have found that's hard to find. And so when we lean into those kind of conversations and creating those kind of experiences for people, that's what I want to bring out in Des Moines Whiskey Festival.
Yeah. So to answer your question a little bit on what mine looks like, mine is not extensive. In part because I'm a buy it and drink it person. I'm not collecting.
As you should.
I do, and I share it with my friends, and
Well, and that's just like Rob Taylor from Revelton says, if I sign it, you better damn drink that bottle. I'll sign another one for you.
Right, exactly. I'm a drink it. It's not there to collect dust. I've got some Weller, I've got some Blanton's, I've got Eagle Rare, I've got all kinds of nice whiskeys, probably a dozen at any one time, but they're all open. They're all being drank. Nothing's sitting there collecting dust. And I usually don't hoard anything, although I hoarded some Eagle Rare during the pandemic because it was a really good deal.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you know if you mix two Wellers together, you'll make a poor man's pappy?
So they say.
Yeah.
I think it's 12-year and Antique 109.
Yeah, good. Very good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's also the craft and like learning how to taste it, the smell, the nose, and not being afraid and like starting to learn what those different whiskeys are made and what you like. If it's a rye, a barley, wheat, what does that concentrate? How does that play into what your personal palates are? And just the different techniques and learning from these distillers. And, most of these distillers took risk as well. A lot of them are doing things that it's hard. It's hard to find a space and a voice on a shelf that's crowded. And, you've got a lot of national brands that have some really big marketing dollars. And so from my marketing experience, if I can help tell this story in the state of Iowa, that's really kind of where this Whiskey Fest is going. And, I hope it continues to grow. And I have a big vision of making it intentionally. We named ourselves our business Midwest Whiskey and Spirits Collective, as we know that there are more than just great whiskey, but there's also spirits. I would love to see this transition to the Midwest Whiskey Festival and Spirits Collective in 3 years. So regional.
So not only are you telling the story of Iowa Distillings and Wine, but you chose, this is a little bit of a different structure than what the previous Des Moines Whiskey Fests were, because you're doing a special event the first night with women in whiskey. Talk about a little bit about why you want to, because we've had a conversation with Rob about Christie's contributions and a lot of big contributions to what Revelton is. And a lot of people don't know that. So talk a little bit about why you're doing something for women in whiskey, and it's not just another tasting.
So, the women in whiskey was actually something that was done when this was in first year. So the first 6 years, the women whiskey was part of the event.
Okay.
The last couple of years it went away. I chose to bring it back because I think it's important to honor the women in whiskey. I also want women to learn how to like whiskey, how to taste it. And then, Christy's also in the medical field, and just having another outlet other than being in the medical space, but also being this master distiller that's created some really great product. I think it's important to tell the story. Part of the Women in Whiskey is going to be a 4-course paired dinner. We have 12 women that are going to be featured art gallery style wise. And then those women are going to be transitioned into a calendar where all the proceeds are going to go back to the Beacon of Life. Again, everything that we do also has a tie back into the community. We are going to be presenting 5 different charities, checks for $5,000 with our sponsorships and the things that we're doing. So we've already committed to making sure throughout the festival that we are giving back to the community in big ways. Then we roll into Friday, which I'm super excited about. And Three Beards is going to be there to help tell the story and highlight and document and give everybody the FOMO that's not there. We are going to start the evening off with a rooftop VIP experience. XO Lex will take the stage at 6:00, and then we're going to go right into Pork Tornadoes. Again, it's all about Iowa. XO Lex, she's a small town, lives close down in that southern Iowa, down by Osceola. And she's now performing in Nashville. It's all about Iowa. It's telling the story. Friday night is also going to feature just my Iowa distillers, because my Iowa distillers want that one-on-one with the guests to be able to talk about their product. And then, of course, we roll into Saturday, which is the main event. It's at a brand new venue this year. The Meridian Event Space wasn't even open, I don't think, when I started thinking about the ideas about where and where would this make sense. There happens to be a speakeasy, a 3-bay golf room. It gives me that indoor-outdoor flow space and just has a really nice elevated experience that I think aligns really well with whiskey and the Whiskey Festival and what I want the guests to experience when they come to Whiskey Fest.
Chris, did you tell me about this?
No.
We were doing a pod?
Well, let's do this, Aaron. If you were paying attention to our social media and all the shows that we're doing, you would know this. Aaron just outed himself.
You heard me say I've been on the road for work for 11 or 12 weeks.
I thought I put something out there a couple weeks ago, but yeah, we're doing a live episode of Old Man Strength on October 2nd. The Iowa State West Virginia game is on the 3rd. Melissa and I are crossing our fingers that that's a night game, so it doesn't interfere with the third day of Whiskey Fest. But yeah, we're gonna go on October 2nd. So
speaking of football, I intentionally did not book on the Iowa State game. That was one of the very first dates that I confirmed when I was looking at dates and things and where I could go. So it is not on an Iowa State game. Just to be clear.
Perfect. There you go. Aaron's checking his calendar right now.
Oh man, I can't. That's October.
Oh man, you know what? Shame on you, Aaron. You're going to miss out on all the whiskey and all the different samples. Right. That's
October 2nd. You said?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be in Nashville.
Well, Nashville, okay, I suppose if
that's
you're going to be
not a bad place to be. Yeah,
I'll be at a board meeting. It won't be great, but
board meetings are fun. Come on.
They?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
I happen to have a great board behind me with Whiskey Fest, so I enjoy my board meetings because it's about the people, and it's the people surrounding and the people that have raised their hands and are willing to help support, just like Chris and Revelton, and they see the belief in this. So when it comes down to this isn't just my vision. I've taken a lot of feedback and I've taken a lot of hits of like, what the fuck? This was bad. Excuse my language. Oops, sorry about that.
That's all right. We're good here. We're good.
But taking a lot of hits of like, really, it was not good the last couple of years, and we are not coming back. So it's been a lot of having those kind of conversations and knowing that the vision that we are creating is not what it's been in the past. And, it takes a lot of resources and a lot of people to make the things happen. And I couldn't do it myself. I really couldn't. The people that are behind me that are raising their hands saying, how can I help? that's what this is about. And, I want the community to feel that this is really something that they're doing. We are partnering with Uber. I want to make sure that people drink responsibly and enjoy themselves when they're there. And so providing that extra level of, hey, you get an Uber ride or you get a voucher for some, be safe. That's part of the experience, and knowing that we want this to be something that you can remember and be like, I can't wait to come back next year when it's even bigger and better as we celebrate the 10-year next year.
100%. Well, we are very, Three Beers Media is just very honored to be able to be there and be a part of it, and to help also spread the message and whatever, and the partnership that we have done and some collaboration that we've done and hopefully continue to do in the future if we get if we get where we want to be. So, I think now what we need to do is if you want to bring Levi on, let's bring Levi on. Let's bring your partner on and the
he's
and
right here.
Talk a little bit about
come on in, Levi.
What am I supposed to say?
He says, "What am I supposed to say?" Come on, meet Levi.
What's up, Levi?
How's it going?
So I've met Levi a couple times at some of the events that we go to, and he's joined us. He's joined us at the Billy and Willie's live episode and podcast, and we went to the tour of Iowa. We went, and that's, I think, the first time I met Levi was at the tour of Iowa, which was a fun little event. Melissa, I have to tell you, in the car yesterday, we're driving to Spencer to see my sister-in-law, my wife Stacy, and Sarah, and you met Sarah at the barbecue.
Yeah.
And Stacy's talking, or no, I'm sorry, we were heading towards Arnold's Park with her sister-in-law, and Stacy's talking up Whiskey Fest and looking it up. She's like, I think we should go and we should do this and blah, blah, blah. And my wife, even though I drink a lot of whiskey and Rob's, and she has not really done a lot until just here recently. So I think you're starting to rub off a little bit on her on this whiskey.
Yes, that's exciting. I love that. That's amazing. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that.
Let me ask you guys this. What's been the most fun going through this process together? What's been the most fun? And what's been, because I've worked with my significant other before, what's been the most challenging?
You go first.
The most fun has just been the research and development with exploring the different distilleries and all the people behind the scenes and the products that they make and the process of how they make it. I really enjoy seeing like Revelton and Cedar Ridge and Templeton and all the different places and the products that come out of like the small town Iowa. And then beyond that, like the people behind it and the stories of how they make it, and meeting you and like the products that you have come out with Old Man Strength and all the different podcasts that you are at the helm of. I just really enjoy seeing like different sides of different products and the way that things come to be.
He's my researcher. He'll find the liquor store in the small town that has all of the collection that I need to go buy. I would say it's been fun. For me, I would say it's been the people again, and working and getting to know him and his family even more, and just their trust in me. But I would probably say the challenging thing that he's even going to say is keeping up with me, or me always like.
You're not allowed to answer for him, Melissa.
It's very true. Like,
don't do that. Don't do that, Levi. You got your own voice. You can be honest.
I can't argue with that. Like, she's 110% every time she goes and does everything. I'm more just when I feel the energy to do something, or I'm more reserved to an extent. She is puts herself out there and does a lot of things, and I'm just along for the ride with a lot of it, and I really enjoy it. But a lot of times I'm just like, I enjoy like my peace and sanctity and my quiet, like at home doing nothing. But she definitely takes me out of my comfort zone a lot to like a lot of the fun stuff. So I really enjoy that.
I would also say it's like, oh, we have to work today. We can't go have fun. We have to work.
Right. Yeah. It sounds to me that going to the different distilleries and drinking whiskey sounds a lot more like fun and a lot less like work.
I mean, if you have to have a job, right? You have to have a job. Why not have fun and like do something you enjoy and love doing and learning and traveling? I mean, there's some really cool places in Iowa. And if you just get in the car and drive an hour and a half, you'll be surprised at what you'll find.
100%. All right, we're going to do our last segment here, but first I have to tease. This is a little tease for something that's coming soon to Three Beards Media.
Oh,
there you go.
That's cryptic. That's exciting.
Coming soon. Okay, this is our STFU segment. This is a segment that is famous because we once had a guest on the podcast who wanted to get her point across, and Tim wouldn't shut the fuck up. Or me, it might have been me, I don't know, and said, shut the fuck up for a second so I can get this out. And we thought it was such a great segment that we decided to make it one of our first community outreach segments. So what this is this is a little video from Steph Copley, who was the guest at the time. And she is very close to the Young Women's Resource Center. So we will ask that people listen to Steph's message, donate to the Young Women's Resource Center. And then when we come back, Melissa, Aaron and I have to shut the fuck up, and you can say whatever you want about any topic, about anybody, and we can't say shit. So here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Steph Copley, the woman behind the STFU segment on the Old Man Strength podcast. When I told the guys I wanted to sponsor this segment, they recommended that I make a charitable donation instead, so that's what I did. I chose the Young Women's Resource Center in Des Moines, Iowa. They're a nonprofit that supports, educates, and advocates for girls and young women ages 10 to 24. Their whole goal is to make sure that these young women become strong, self-confident, and successful. And if you know me at all, you know that aligns with my goals as well. If you're interested and would like to donate, check them out at ywrc.org and donate today. And remember, don't forget to STFU and listen every once in a while. Thanks.
All right, Melissa, the floor is yours.
I have so much to say, but my mind is going blank at the moment. So, I would have to say the biggest thing in this Whiskey Fest and the challenges is there's a lot of red tape and navigation that I've had to learn about. We have some really unique laws in the state of Iowa surrounding liquor and alcohol. And I think that's been one of the biggest challenges is you even pick up a phone and somebody doesn't know what you're doing. And it's like, okay, you're supposed to be the one telling me what I need to be doing. Why is it taking this long? So I think that's part of my envisioning of why it's been so challenging and what that looks like. And it just seems like we are behind the times and some of these laws and what we've got going on in our state.
Perfectly said. There we go. Well, Melissa, we can't thank you enough for your time. Appreciate all the thing that you have done for Des Moines Whiskey Fest, for the state of Iowa and their distillers, but also for Three Beards Media and the collaboration that you've given us. So
thank you so much. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We're just getting started though.
Yeah, we are. There we go.
There's more whiskey talks coming.
There's some more whiskey talks coming. There's some more fun football themed stuff coming. We've got new stuff coming all the time. Listen, we launched these billboards a month ago at the encouragement of Melissa. I believe I called Melissa and said, this is a stupid fucking idea, right? And she goes, no, it's genius. You should do it. And I was like, okay, well then there we go. And we've got some other little ideas cooked up that we're going to do. But we are here. We're not going anywhere. There's enough room for everybody. Three Beards Media. We are Iowa's only independent podcast network. We don't answer to anybody. We do whatever we want, whether it's good or bad. That's what we do. So, but check out the rest of the content. Fashion and Shit Show Diaries tomorrow night with Julia Bradshaw. She's on tomorrow night. The new B-Side Boys Rugby podcast makes their debut Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Their show will launch at 7 a.m. Billy and Willie's Workshop is Tuesday night. Hawkeye Hangover went this morning. Side the Storm, Tracking the Storm next week. We are all over the place. So with that, we are out of here.
Old man strength, built to last. Try to break me, you won't get past. Ain't no quit, ain't no doubt. You don't know tough till you've been worn out.